Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the city's Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, June 9th. I've been joined by council members Warsami, Reich, Quincy, Kano, and Councilmember Fry will be joining us shortly. There is a list of consent agenda items in front of us, items 13 through 22. They include licenses recommended for approval, approving the conditions on a mobile food truck, authorizing an agreement with the Watershed Commission, reinstatement of a rental license, some changes to the city's construction management agreement, appointments to the Minneapolis Workforce Housing Council, authorizing a resolution to continue our PACE program, resubordinating a loan at Vintage Flats, and 2 referrals from the council. Are there any items anyone would like to pull off on the consent agenda for approval this morning? Seeing none on the motion to approve the consent agenda, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. We'll move on to our public hearing agenda, starting with item number 1. Ms. Kimball, welcome.
Hi, Chair Goodman, members of the committee. The first item before you is 3522 Aldrich Avenue North. It's a single-family home that's been vacant and boarded for 6 years. It was advertised through the City of Minneapolis Vacant Housing Recycling Program. Our recommendation is to sell to Hashim Yonas, whose intention is to rehab the property through a general contractor, sell his current home, and owner-occupy this home. An alternate purchaser that's proposed in the event that Hashim Yonas does not perform is Northside Homes LLC, which is a partnership between Project for Pride in Living and Urban Homeworks. Their intent is to rehab and sell to an owner-occupant or rent short-term until an occupant is prepared for purchase. Sale price was determined by an independent third-party appraisal and will result in an elimination of property maintenance costs at $3,600 a year. The McKinley community provided comments stating support of sale to Mr. Yonas. Should I move into the second item?
Are there any questions on item number 1? Seeing no questions on item number 1, we're going to open the public hearing on item number 1 and see if there's anyone here to speak to this issue. Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 1 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 2. Ms. Kimball.
Chair Goodman, members of the committee, 2701 Oliver Avenue North is currently a duplex. It's been vacant and boarded for 1 year, was advertised through the City of Minneapolis Vacant Housing Recycling Program. Our recommendation is to sell to Reliable Property Maintenance and Home Service, LLC, whose intent is to convert the duplex into a single-family home and rehab for sale to an owner-occupant. Sale price was determined by an independent third-party appraisal and will result in an elimination of property maintenance costs of $3,600 a year. The Jordan Area Community Council was notified of the sale but did not provide any comments.
Are there any questions for Ms. Kimball on item number 2? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 2. Is there anyone here to speak to the issue of the land sale of 2701 Oliver Avenue North? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 2 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Those items are approved. Thank you for your report. We'll then move on to item number 3. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, our first application this morning is from Annalise Coffee at 2402 Central, and they're asking for a sidewalk cafe. They'll be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. The sidewalk cafe will be located along the Central Avenue sidewalk in 2 tables, 4 chairs up against the wall. Traffic engineering reviewed the plan, and it meets all of their requirements. We did do public hearing notification of today's public hearing, and we mailed 52 public hearing notices and notified the business associations and neighborhood groups in that area. We received 1 response, and that was in support. Staff recommends that you approve this application.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 3? Seeing none, this is a public hearing on item number 3, which is a new license application for a sidewalk cafe at Annalise Coffee. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Ike.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval as submitted.
Approval item number 3 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 4. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a new business license application from Bottles and Bodega Minneapolis at 1216 East Lake, and they are seeking a new on-sale wine and strong beer license Class D. They're going to use this to operate it as a restaurant and also a facility that will teach the medium of painting. The hours of operation will be at the maximum to 10 p.m. They will have a variety of food related to pizza and different soups. The hours of operation, again, are to 10 p.m. Since this is a new application, a public hearing is required. We notified all residents and property owners within 600 feet. We received one response from that notification process, and it was one in support of the application. Staff concurs that they meet all the requirements, and our recommendation is to approve the application.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 4? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 4, which is a new business application for Bottle and Bottega. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
I'm part of the public. Does that matter?
Yes, that's
Oh,
great.
Okay, great. Chanel Montana, I'm one of the co-owners of Denard Craft Spirits, and I just wanted to say thank you for the city of Minneapolis for moving so quickly on this issue and allowing us to apply for this very, very quickly after the law was changed. And a special shout out to our councilwoman, Councilwoman Cano, for helping us as well. So thank you so much, and I'm happy to take any questions if anyone.
So you're speaking to item number 5, which is Denard Craft and Spirits.
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry, I didn't have the agenda. I thought I was.
That's
Excuse
okay.
me.
But do you support Bottle and Bottega?
I do as well.
We will get to you. Okay, so is there anyone here to speak to Bottle and Bottega? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval as submitted.
of item number 4. Item
Yes.
number 4 is in front of us. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Now we'll move on to item number 5, which is Denard Craft and Spirits. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Denard Craft Spirits at 2610 East 32nd Street is seeking a off-sale distilled spirits license. They already hold licenses related to their distillery cocktail room. This was first made available because of the state law change and the city council change that allowed this. They will be allowed to have hours of operation for the off-sale distilled spirits of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday, the same as all off-sale liquor stores. They do not are not afforded the right to be able to have off-sale on Sundays. We did a public hearing. We notified all residents and property owners within 600 feet, the Longfellow Neighborhood Association, the 38th and Chicago Business Association, and the Lake Street Council. We received 2 responses from that notification, and both were in support of the application. And staff's recommendation is to approve.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 5? Seeing none. Ms. Montana, would you like to add anything? You're so cute. We just had to tease you a little.
I apologize
No, it's
before I
okay.
jumped the gun a little bit. No, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions. if
It's
anyone
great that
has
you
any.
guys are here today, too. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano. Item number 5 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 6, State Fair Brewing Cooperative. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by Fair State Brewing Cooperative, which is located at 2506 Central Avenue Northeast, and they are seeking approval to expand their on-sale liquor tap room license to include a patio off the rear of their establishment. This will have picnic bench style tables with a seating capacity of 64 persons. Zoning administrator has approved this application. They have determined that there are no additional parking requirements because of the addition of the patio, because it's outdoor and seasonal seating, no additional parking is required. Their current indoor area does require 3 parking stalls, and the other business, a bakery in their building, has a 3-stall parking requirement, and there are 8 off-street parking spaces available. So the outdoor patio will be located at the rear of the building along the alleyway. They are required to stay at least 12 feet off from that alleyway from their seating area. And it's located in a neighborhood commercial node with a high density of residential properties, approximately 80 feet across the alley and behind them. They will not be using any amplified sound or musical instruments in this rear area, in the outdoor area. They do intend to have games in this outdoor area, beanbag, washer toss, things like that. They have agreed to have those games cease during the week at 10 p.m. and by 11 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. We did a public hearing notification process. We mailed 252 notices to residents and property owners within 600 feet. We hand posted the multiple tenant buildings in that perimeter. We notified the Holland Neighborhood Association and the Northeast Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. We received 14 responses from that mailing. 5 are in support, 9 are opposed. In reviewing the opposed responses, most of them are related to parking. In reviewing those responses, it appeared that they are concerned that this business might absorb a lot of the on-street parking, which isn't required and of course is shared by all businesses that front Central Avenue. This application does meet all of the requirements of our ordinances, and staff's recommendation is to approve.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 6? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 6, which is an expansion of premise for Fair State Brewing Cooperative. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Wright.
Madam Chair, I move approval.
Approval of item number 6 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 7, Max Fish and Chips.
Madam Chair, Max Fish and Chips is located at 612 54th Street West in Minneapolis. They are seeking a sidewalk cafe license. They will have 12 seats in the sidewalk cafe, and they will be open till 8:30 p.m., where their inside restaurant will be open till 10 p.m. Max Fish and Chip has operated at this site with an on-sale wine and strong beer license since September of 2013. Public hearing is required. We notified all residents within 300 feet of this application, and we notified the business associations and neighborhood associations. We received 15 responses to this notification. 13 are in support, 2 are opposed. The 2 opposed indicated that the area is becoming too crowded, sidewalk is not large enough, parking and traffic issues. Just as a note, as all of our sidewalk cafe applications, our traffic engineering department has reviewed and approved the design of this sidewalk cafe so that there's adequate pedestrian traffic remaining on that sidewalk. They meet all of our requirements, and staff's recommendation is to approve.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 7? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 7, which is expansion of premise for Max Fish and Chips. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy, you have one in your ward.
I love Max Fish and Chips. Yes, I'd like to move approval of this item. Thank you.
Item number 7 has been moved for approval. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 8. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, number 8 is Northgate Brewing. They are a small brewing company located at 783 Harding Street Northeast, and they're seeking a permanent expansion of premises to also operate an outdoor patio with 28 seats. They are located in the Mill City Industrial neighborhood, and they are zoned Industrial 2, which is a very heavy industrial zoned area. They are seeking to be open during the week including Friday, or during the week until 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday till 11 p.m. A public hearing is required for this expansion. We notified, sent 25 notices to property owners and residents and the Northeast Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. We did receive one response from that mailing, and that response is in support of the application. Staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 8? Seeing none, this is a public hearing on item number 8, which is an expansion of premise for Northgate Brewing. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval as submitted.
Approval of item number 7 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 9, Troubadour Wine Bar. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Troubadour Wine Bar is located at 2827 Hennepin Avenue. They are seeking an on-sale wine and strong beer license, Class C2. Premises was currently licensed as a restaurant previously. They'll have seating inside for 30, exterior seating on a sidewalk cafe for 10, and they plan to be open daily until midnight. This was formerly Solomon's Bakery. The principal owners are Christopher Fittipaldi and Phineas Fittipaldi. The applicants are proposing a small wine bar that serves beer, wine, and small plates. The menu consists of cured meats, fine cheeses, fresh fruits, salad dishes, and panini sandwiches. They will be allowed with the C2 license to have entertainment with up to 3 musicians. They will have no outdoor speakers on their sidewalk cafe in their business plan. Public hearing is required. Notices were sent to all property owners within 600 feet. We also notified the Lowry Hill East Neighborhood Group Uptown Business Association. We received no responses from that mailing. They seem to meet all of our requirements, and staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 9? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on number 9, which is a new business license for Troubadour Wine Bar, 2827 Hennepin Avenue. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move approval of this item.
Item number 9 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move to the last project in Councilmember Reich's ward today, which is Wander North Distillery. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wander North Distillery is located at 771 Harding Street Northeast. They are seeking an on-sale liquor Class 2 cocktail room license and off-sale distilled spirits license. This, again, is located in an industrial zoned area. They have only indoor seating in this facility currently, and they have seating for 93 persons inside. They have none outside, and intend to be open from noon to 11 p.m. Applicant principal is Brian Winter, and he's the chief manager as well. The second precinct of the Minneapolis Police Department did a security plan review and approves their security and business plans with respect to this new on-sale license. Cocktail room will have a total of 93 seats again, and 9 of those will be at a bar on the inside. Public hearing is required. We sent 29 notices to residents and property owners, and notified the Northeast Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce as well. We received no responses from that mailing, and staff's recommendation is to approve.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 10? Seeing none, this is a public hearing on item number 10, Wander North Distillery. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval.
Approval of item number 10 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 11, the outdoor bar and bar area ordinance. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you may recall, the previous cycle of this committee on May 19th, we held a public hearing for an amendment that to Chapter 360-100 of the Minneapolis Code that regulates all outdoor areas where alcohol is served. This chapter has multiple sections that establish rules for outdoor alcohol premises, including the entertainment, sound levels, hours of operation, maintenance, and accessibility. And this chapter provides the City Council significant latitude in restricting activity in outdoor liquor areas based upon their proximity to residential uses, if they create negative secondary effects for neighborhood properties, etc. The amendment proposed today would allow brewer tap rooms and distillery cocktail rooms to have outdoor bar service to patrons. The current ordinance prohibits outdoor bars other than downtown and requires that alcohol service be made at tables in conjunction with food service. To recall what we did last cycle, we did notify all on-sale alcohol license holders, all business associations, and all neighborhood associations, and posted a notification of this proposed ordinance on our website. That concludes my basic report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the amendment.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 11. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Reich.
Madam Chair, move approval.
Approval of item number 11 has been moved. Is there further comment or question? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 12, which I understand to be a housekeeping amendment.
Hello, Chair Goodman and members of the committee. The amendment before you today is just basically simple cleanup of some ordinance language to make sure that we have the authority that we need for our delegation agreements with the Department of Health. And we don't anticipate that this will affect any of our licensed businesses.
Okay, are there any questions for staff? This is a public hearing, so I'm going to have to open the public hearing on item number 12, which is adding or deleting language to remove conflicts with Minnesota statutes and rules to bring us into compliance. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll move approval of item number 12 and the staff recommendation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. There is no further business on our agenda today. I will just note for members of the committee, the June 23rd agenda does not look like this. It has a number of additional items, including a number of public hearings, so I would just urge you to plan on your schedules accordingly. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.